Hello everyone, welcome to my first ever reading bullet journal setup. It seems I am starting off this year of 2022 with something new. Now, over the past 2 years, I've been bullet journaling. However, as you're about to see, I couldn't stay consistent with it this past year of 2021. I had put all this work into it right off the bat, super gorgeous, but I only stayed true to a couple of spreads. One of them being this YouTube subscriber spread and the brain dump page. These were easy to visit occasionally because I was super invested in YouTube during the last half of this year. Perhaps my goals in starting out were a little overkill, but since I remained somewhat productive with these pages, I'd like to bring them back this year. Okay, now for the star of the show. I absolutely loved my books to be read bookshelf, as well as the spreads for keeping track on my thoughts towards the books I had completed reading. And it's because of this, my spreads for this coming year will all be dedicated to mostly reading. In 2020, I was home a lot more because of COVID, and I had a lot more time on my hands to be bullet journaling like my whole life. But now that's not the case anymore. In 2021, with my ice skating, YouTube work, and various other activities, my schedule has not been as open as it was the previous year of 2020, so whatever free time I had to relax, I spent reading, and that is something I don't mind stopping to jot down and keep track of. So for 2022, I'll be saying goodbye to my monthly spreads and trackers, at least for now. Maybe 2023 will bring in some changes to allow more bullet journaling time, but we shall see. To start off, I'll be decorating my cover page. I'm still going to be using my 2021 journal for 2022 because there is still so much space in this journal. It's not even funny. Plus, I'm still not ready to let go of all the art that I put into it last year. The tools I'll be using today are super simple. I had used some pencils and a ruler ahead of time just to lay out my spreads, and I'm now using micron pens to make it permanent, though you can use any kind of pen you'd like. My plan was to carry the same aesthetic over from last year into the new year as well, but afterwards, after I had colored everything in, drawn it out, and put my art on for the cover page, as you're about to see in just a second, I felt like the aesthetic of it was a little more dark academia than anything, but that's okay. It's still kind of cool. I guess I'm just gonna go with the flow. I have this super cute box that I use to hold scraps of random stuff that can be used to decorate my journals. I just search Pinterest for pretty pictures and I print them out on regular printer paper. All I have to do is cut the images out and glue them in. I mean, really, the hardest part about this is figuring out where you want to put them and committing to it by gluing them in. Oh, and washi tape. I did use quite a bit of washi tape. And being that I'm such a perfectionist, all of this can be very time consuming for me. But it's so much fun, it's totally worth it. And voila! My cover page is complete. I mean, not bad, not bad. I really like these pictures that I incorporated into this cover, but let's keep moving on. So now you're about to see my YouTube tracker spread set up. I did it a little different this year. I wanted to simply jot down the new number of subscribers I had at the end of each month. I'm not going to give myself any huge goals here because I don't want to be too disappointed. Because of how much work I put into my videos, I still haven't reached a place where I feel my channel has the following it deserves. You know what I mean? I need to get out there more, and I think perhaps this year I'll focus on figuring out how to advertise my channel better, like on other platforms. I'm open to suggestions too, if any of you watching this have some ideas for me. And next to my subscriber tracker, I did decide to keep my little brain dump page. I liked to use this for when I might have a video idea, but I can't do anything about it yet, but I don't want to lose the idea, so this is the place where I can save it for later. And now for my most favorite part of the journal, the bookshelf spread. In 2020, my goal was to read one book a month, which I'm proud to say I accomplished. I do believe I even have a YouTube video on the subject, and I'm sure I'll do another one for 2021 as well. Last year, I accomplished my goal to read mostly books that I had been wanting to read for a very long while. You know, books that you have laying around for years that you never got around to. Yeah, those kinds of books. Not only did I read quite a few books on my to be read list this past year, I also still somehow managed to read one book a month. This year, though, it's going to be quite a bit different. I want to tackle big books this year, and I mean big. I have books that are 800 plus pages that are so intimidating. I've started a couple huge books already, but I didn't get around to finishing them because I've been so scared. So, this bookshelf will be filled with very fat books. I did draw in room for 12 books, but I seriously doubt I'll be reading 12 800 plus page books this year. I mean, if I'm being honest. However, I do plan on reading a couple smaller books in between because, let's face it, I will be needing a break in between novels. So perhaps at the end of the year, I can add the small books in and fill the shelves up more with those. I still haven't decided if I want a separate spread for the shorter books or not. It depends on how many I end up reading, so we shall see. But with my journal bookshelf here, each of the books on the bookshelf will be filled in with the title and color on the spines in accordance to that specific book. The first book I will be adding into this lovely bookshelf spread is To Sleep in a Sea of Stars by Christopher Paolini. I started it last year and I'm super excited to be finishing it. Since the cover of that book is pretty blue, I'm going to fill in its spine on my shelf with that pretty blue color. And then the spread that you will see me create on the next page over will be using that same color blue to fill in the days that I read that specific book. As I read on into new books throughout the year, the color of the day will change to the color of the current book I had been reading. So my goal is to read a little bit every single night, or day, morning. So my chart next to the bookshelf is what I'll be using to track what I read and in how many days it took me to read it. I'm calling it 365 nights of reading, but like I said, even if I only read once in the morning or afternoon, it still counts. Because really, it's more of a read every day type of chart. This is something I will need to stay on top of, and I'm super excited for it. And I am determined to stay consistent with the time that I spend reading this year. And there we have it, my finished product. Not bad. I think I'll add some more embellishments to it later on, but I'm super excited to start filling it in. Next up are my reviews and ratings spread. I stayed true to last year's spread and I definitely want to do it again, but with a little bit of a twist. As you can obviously see, I actually printed out the cover image of the first book that I will be adding to my journal. I wanted to get an idea for the sizing and positioning of everything. I've seen a ton of book journal spreads on YouTube that incorporated pictures from the book covers, and I thought the visuals of that was so super cool. So I'm trying that out here, and I think the image size I ended up with for the book cover was something like 1 inch by 1.5 inches or something like that. It's kind of bad I can't remember it off the top of my head, because if I want to be consistent, I'll need to replicate the size I used for the first one so I can do it again exactly the same for all my other books. In this spread, I also want to include somewhat of a rating system with stars or something, and obviously all my thoughts regarding the books will be written down here as well. And you know what? I think it'll turn out pretty good. Alright, and now it's time for the final flip through. The cover page looks great. I think this is about as good as I can do for today. I may be adding in a spread for smaller books like I mentioned before. I may be adding more art and stickers to these pages, and yeah, that'll be determined throughout the rest of the year. But for right now, I think it looks pretty good. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope that you enjoyed my bullet journal setup video, and as always, don't forget to check out my channel, hit the subscribe button, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, and feel free to leave me any comments down below, and I'll see you again in my next video. Bye bye.